Hey, good morning, jazz fans. Brian Zimmerman here again, a digital content editor for Jazziz Magazine. Welcome to another edition of the Jazziz Daily Brunch. We apologize for coming to you late, and we're going to have to apologize again. Today we had scheduled the one and only Jay Beckenstein from Spirogyra. He was supposed to appear on the program today. He's going to join us for brunch, but he's based in New York, and I don't have to tell you, people have been plagued by connectivity issues all over the place. And so due to some technical difficulties, we weren't actually able to get him on. But we still have a show for you today. We still are glad you're joining us for the Jazziz Daily Brunch. We are going to have a special guest, and it'll be the Jazz's publisher, Michael Fagan, a longtime friend of Jay Beckenstein. So you can rest assured he's going to have plenty of Spirogyra stories for you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine. How's everybody doing?
We're all hanging in there the best we can.
Well, I just want to say good morning. Welcome to our Jazziz Daily Brunch. I'm here with my John Coltrane mug. And,
there you go.
And you can get one too at the Jazziz.
That's right, on the Jazziz store, jazziz.com. Shop for yourself. We turned all of our most iconic covers into merchandise: shirts, mugs, tumblers, mouse pads. It's all there for you to check out. Michael, before we hop into today's program, I also want to thank one of our sponsors.
Sure.
We're talking about the great Mac Avenue Records. They've been putting us on the road to great music for 20 years now. So they have started a live stream of their own at 1 p.m. Pacific time, so 4 p.m. Eastern. It's called First Listen Fridays. They are streaming new music that's coming out on the label. This Friday, they're actually featuring an amazing pianist, Christian Sands, along with Raul Madone, Roberto Fonseca, Aaron Deal. It's all new content every week, Fridays, 1 p.m. on the Mac Avenue Facebook page and the Mac Avenue Instagram page. So thank you to Mac Avenue. While we're live, Michael, I also just want to say, for those out there watching on Facebook, feel free to drop us a line if you have a question for me or for the publisher of Jazziz, Michael Fagan. You want to ask a question about Jazz's amazing 35-year history. Ask away.
I'm here. Yes. I was going to say, Brian, the thing about the interactivity of this is something that I think we really should promote to everyone. Because we want your feedback. I mean, we basically listen, and when you tell us things that you like and you don't like, we take that very seriously.
Yep, we are here for you. We want to bring you great content. Again, we're sorry we can't have Jay Beckenstein on the program today. He will be back later. But Michael, we have him here in spirit. Jeff, if you want to put up, there it is, a cover from August 1986. Featuring Jay Beckenstein. And Michael, if that hair doesn't say 1986, that Hawaiian shirt certainly does. As is the price.
It certainly does.
$1 for the magazine. Yeah. So what's the scoop on this magazine cover, Michael?
Well, first of all, as you can tell, it was the original logo that I had designed by hand. I'm embarrassed to say, for Jazziz Magazine. And we had it for 5 years. It was our 5th year anniversary cover featuring Branford Marsalis that had changed to the logo that you know today. That cover, interestingly, was shot by William Coupon. And those of you who are followers of Time Magazine, you'll know that he was a regular Time Magazine staff photographer who did so many Time Magazine portrait covers. So that's why, if you notice, in fact, for those into photography and graphic design, you'll notice that the backdrop on Jay was one that was often used on the backdrop of iconic Time Magazine covers. And yes, that was one of the early Jazziz covers. I had met Jay a couple of years earlier at a show. He was actually performing when I was at the University of Florida at the Great Southern Music Hall, it was called. I don't think it's there anymore. And I managed to weasel my way backstage. I was a freelance writer at the time. And when Jay saw me backstage, not knowing who I was, he obviously looked at me and said, "Who the hell are you? And what are you doing here?" But since then, we've got to know each other very well, and his family. And as soon as his connectivity issues resolve, we will have Jay back on because there's some really great stories.
That's absolutely right. I love the price tag on that magazine too. $1
$1.
Yeah, but hey, we're getting close nowadays with our special offer that we're putting on the website. Trying to help people get access to content. We are actually offering 3 months of digital access to Jazziz Magazine, so you get all the subscriber content online for just 99 cents per month. That gets you one complimentary print edition as well. So we've got our summer 2020 issue coming out. It is all about fusion. Jay Beckenstein himself would love it. It's all about fusion. That'll be out in June, Michael.
Yeah, that'll be out in early June. It's our fusion. The theme of the issue is fusion. Everyone from Chick to artists that you've probably never heard of that are
new
just
fusion.
The new fusion.
That's right. That's right. So if you go to jazziz.com, click on subscribe in the top left-hand corner, you could sign up for this 3-month trial offer. You get the unlimited digital access, and you get that fusion issue.
And it's a penny less than you paid for Jay Beckenstein.
That's right.
Back in 1986.
That's right. That's right. Well, hey, Michael, I mean, we could talk for hours about our love for Spirogyra. And it was interesting, as I was doing research for this show, I went down kind of a 70s fusion rabbit hole on YouTube. So it started with Spyro, then it got into George Benson, Chuck Mangione. And what I was noticing was all the comments for these videos were fresh within the last day or two. And what people were saying was, this is exactly the kind of music I need, to get through these tough times. It's positive, it's uplifting, it grooves, it puts a little wiggle in your tush, which is exactly what we all need right now.
Yeah. And Brian, the interesting thing about Spyro is that Jay was one of the first ones to say, sure, I listened to jazz, but a lot of what we were doing, what he was doing, him saying that in the beginning, was more instrumental pop. And right. And they at face value, they said that's what we're doing. And as you know, those who have followed the jazz reviewers and critics and writers, they catch a lot of flack from time to time from sort of the more traditional jazz oriented jazz critics who think it's too smooth or it's not jazz, but they're honest about what they do, and that's what I really always liked about them. And that is, they don't pretend to be something that they're not. They can get down and dirty and do some pretty cool jazz things, and then sometimes they do some pretty cool rock things. But at the end of the day, they're Spirogyra, and that's what they do. And they maintained that sort of initial foundation that they started with in the late 70s. Yep. They continued it through current, and that's what Spirogyra is all about. And I've always appreciated him for that. There are clearly albums from Spirogyra that I like more than others. Most people know their very early album that they had that huge hit. It was on the UK pop charts, the US pop charts, Morning Dance.
Morning Dance, sure.
But a Shaker Song.
Was another great one. Yep.
But they've always had that, that pop sensibility that when you see them live, you get it. I think a lot of people who don't get a chance to see them live may not get it from their recordings, but when you see them live and see what they're all about, it kind of comes together and makes sense.
They had a quality that just spoke to large audiences, wide audiences during that time. And yet you're absolutely right. I mean, Tom Schumann, Jay Beckenstein, these were hardcore jazz guys. I mean, they grew up listening to Lester Young, Oscar Peterson, and they kind of came up in that Weather Report, Return to Forever vein. And they just had a quality that spoke to people. Again, a kind of a positivity in their music that spoke to people at the time, and hit after hit after hit. One of the best band name origin stories in jazz too. Work in the bar in Buffalo, and with no name band. And the bar owner asked Jay, "Hey, what's the name of this group? People are really into it." He was taking, I think, what was it, like a biology course in college?
Yeah. He studied something in college, and he knew about this
strain of algae called Spirogyra. The club owner spelled the name wrong, and Spirogyra was born.
And the wrong name stuck. The wrong spelling.
Exactly. They've released an amazing album recently in Vinyl Tap, which is, love the name of that too. An album of all covers. They do Cream. There's a Cream cover on there. What else is on there? Let me pull that up. It's enough, and you know they do it all in their very unique Spirogyra way. But you know, Sunshine of Your Love is on there. The Cisco Kid is on there.
Is Bobby Fleckman on that album?
Is Bobby Fleckman?
It's a joke. It's Bobby Fleckman. I think was the fictional character in Spinal Tap.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Well, they definitely turned it up to 11. That's for sure. I can vouch for that. Michael, I guess while we have you online, because you and I could riff on Spirogyra all day, I thought it would be great to walk viewers through what we have in store for the rest of the month coming up on the Jazziz Brunch, because you know, a lot of major players coming through. So we're going to take a brief hiatus, obviously, over the weekend, but coming back on Monday, we're going to kick things off big time with Al Di Meola. He has a brand new Beatles tribute album coming out. He revisits the Beatles songbook on his new album. So we're going to talk to him about that, about, you know, talk about a fusion icon.
Al's kind of guy. You know, while the new album isn't fusion, those who have followed Al Di Meola know that there's some serious fusion roots. My introduction to Al was on Return to Forever's Romantic Warrior album, where I just couldn't believe how in a fusion setting there was this acoustic guitarist that was just like a machine gun, and it was just so beautiful. The one story that I love to tell, and we'll talk about it with Al, and that is I remember my first time to Chick Corea's Mad Hatter Studios. I was excited just to be in Chick's studio, but when you walk in the front door, there's the original floor to ceiling mural painting of the Romantic Warrior cover. And to me, nice. I got
that knight in shining armor. Yeah.
Right. I got stage fright just by looking at that huge mural when I walked in, because that was the album that did it for me.
Yeah, how cool. So, you know, Al's going to be here. He's going to have his guitar. He's going to be demonstrating some stuff for us. By the way, hey, Michael, before we move on, we've gotten some hellos on Facebook. So hello to Lisa Christensen from Denmark. How cool is that? Jeff Deshevsky said he was hooked on Spyro as soon as he heard the Shaker song. That's the case for a lot of us.
Hi, Jeff. I just want to do a shout out to Jeff. Jeff's not only a huge jazz fan, he's incredibly knowledgeable. I get emails and texts from Jeff. He's a wonderful guy, great family, and this guy knows jazz.
Awesome. Also got a hello from Andreas Schmidt, a keyboardist in Germany. He's a viewer of the show. He's saying he loved the Dave Liebman episode, and he's got some suggestions for people to interview. So David Friedman, Celine Rudolph, Jerry Grinelli. Man, that'd be great. Sheila Jordan, Ted Brown, Reggie Moore. We'll see what we can do, man.
This person knows jazz too. Great suggestions. And well, let's try to do. You know, the thing that I did when we all came up with this idea to do this daily Jazziz brunch, is I basically did what a lot of people do. You go to your Rolodex, and I went on my phone, which is the new Rolodex, and I started calling people and texting them. And what I was really happy to see is that virtually everyone I reached out to said, you know, we're in. We'd love to do this. So we're going to keep going with this, and there's going to be a lot of surprises. There'll be some impromptu. We'll sometimes bring several artists together. I think that the interactivity of this is what I love, and we love when you send in your comments, and we like to read and say a shout out to you as well.
Absolutely. And so more of those musicians who are game to join us for brunch. Carolyn Leonard on Tuesday, April 14th.
Carolyn Leonard, for those of you who don't know Carolyn, from a very, very musical family. Jay Leonard, her father. Her brother's a phenomenal trumpeter. Bass player Jay Leonard. She's also the background vocalist in Steely Dan.
For the Dan. That's right. So she will be on the program. She will be followed on Wednesday by Nathan East. An amazing bassist as well. Thursday, we've got a young up-and-coming trombone player named Nick Finzer, who runs his own label, Outside In Music. He, during this pandemic, has done some amazing things for independent artists, offering his services to promote independent artists, to find a label home for them. He's also an incredible trombone player and educator, specializing in trombone improvisation. He's going to be a lot of fun to talk to. And Michael, we are also doing our parts to help promote independent artists. For any independent artists watching, or for any friends of independent artists, we offer a program called Inside Track. which allows independent artists, or any artist really, any musician, to submit their new album directly to Jazziz editors. I get this question all the time. How can I get my album to? Do you want me to send a physical CD, especially now? What do we do? Inside Track is your answer. All you have to do is visit jazziz.com, click submit your music in the top navigation bar. You fill out all the info about your album, the personnel, track listing, album cover, the audio. You can send us a SoundCloud or Bandcamp link, and it comes directly to me. It comes directly to you. It comes directly to our other editors. And it could wind up, not only do you get a posting on our website under the Inside Track, so you get to see your album and the write-up online. It could wind up in a Song of the Day post on our website. It could wind up in a weekly playlist. We can end up writing about it in the magazine. Heck, we could have you here on the Jazziz Daily Brunch. A lot of options once you submit that album. So we hope you certainly do.
Yeah.
And next week, Michael, just to wrap up an amazing week for next week, we're going to close things out on Friday with Peter Erskine.
Yeah,
so,
Peter
drummer extraordinaire.
One of the great drummers. I mean, maybe one of the greatest drummers. One of the things I love about Peter is you can find him on a very eclectic ECM album, and then he'll be touring with a pop band like Steely Dan. Yep. And he does it all, and he also has some really great stories. Obviously, doing the gamut.
Absolutely. Not to outdo ourselves, but the following week, we're going to kick things off on Monday, the 20th, with Keon Harold, an amazing trumpet player. And if you don't know, he provided the trumpet for the Miles Davis movie with it was Don Cheadle, right?
Yep, it was Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, right, playing Miles Davis. Keon Harold was playing the trumpet. That was, Miles Davis on screen. So,
and if I can interrupt, Brian, for those of you in the interim, maybe over the weekend, we did a great podcast with Don Cheadle, the actor, famous actor, philanthropist, just wonderful guy, and with Keon Harold.
That's right.
So you can check both of those.
Tied you over for brunch until Monday the 20th. Following that, on Tuesday, we've got this is going to be cool. It's a double interview with Flora Purim and Erto Morera. Okay, so that's a twofer on Tuesday the 21st.
They have some interesting stories, by the way, Brian, about immigration.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's they're full of interesting stories, but can't wait to talk to them as well. Let's pull this up here. Wednesday, the 22nd, Mark Egan.
Original Pat Metheny group.
That's right, and Gil Evans Orchestra.
Gil Evans, sure.
Bassist and trumpet player, also founder of Elements, that fusion group. So that's on, and then we're going to double down with the bass on Thursday the 23rd with Petros Klempanis, another young guy, up and coming, but immensely talented.
Yeah, beautiful projects he's done.
Yep. And we're going to close off that week, Friday the 24th, with Jeff Coffin. Multi-instrumentalist guy, can do it all, one-time member of the Flecktones, who has since branched out to a bunch of really cool projects of his own. And then the last week of April, we are starting off April 27th with Jimmy Haslip of the Yellow Jacket. So if you remember, if you've been watching, Jimmy Haslip was supposed to appear on he was supposed to join us for brunch earlier in the week, but he had some connectivity issues as well. So he'll be back on Monday, the 27th. 28th, Boney James, sax player, has a new project out, brand new. It's called Solid. Actually, I think they may have postponed that album to July, but the singles are out. You can start listening to it now. The 29th of April, that's a Wednesday, Rudresh Mahanthapa. So he is an amazing alto saxophonist. He's currently the head of jazz studies at Princeton University. He has a new album out called The Hero, with his Hero Trio, which celebrates the music of his musical icons, his heroes. He also, a few years ago, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago now, did a tribute to Charlie Parker, where he took little snippets of DNA from a Charlie Parker song and just turned them into these amazing kaleidoscopic compositions. It was one of my favorite albums of the year when it came out. It was probably my top 5. I remember I put together a list that year, and it was definitely made the top 5. He's a really interesting guy, head of the Princeton Jazz Festival as well. He'll be joining us on Wednesday. Thursday, the 30th, we have John Regan. So that'll be another nice interview. And then May 1st, the 1st of May, Delfeo Marsalis of the famous Marsalis family. Delfeo is a trombone player. Again, The guy's amazing stories and is just an incredible musician, and can't wait to talk to him. But that'll take us through April. We'll have a lot more in store for you for May. But I don't know, Michael, I've been enjoying these a lot.
Yeah, I've been enjoying. Look, the ones that I haven't joined yet, I've watched, and they're a lot of fun. And I hope everyone watching them has as much fun watching them as we do making them.
Absolutely. And hello again to the rest of our Facebook viewers. Dave Hoggerty, good to see you on here. What can we say? We appreciate you sticking with us. And sorry we couldn't have Jay on today, but he will be back again, and we'll be talking plenty of things Spirogyra.
Sounds good.
In the meantime, Michael, we will see you on jazziz.com. We have just released our April digital issue. Jeff, I don't know if you're able to pull that up. This features a saxophonist, Jimmy Green. He just released an album called While Looking Up. We had one of our writers speak to him about the new album and what it means to him personally in these troubled times, and how faith, which is a through-going topic of that album, really helped him get through these times. We've also got an interview with Thundercat. Here, I can send it to you. So if you go to read issues, Jeff, you can pull up our latest issue. This is a good little walkthrough for our site as well. There it is. Jimmy Green, April 2020 issue. We also got an interview with Thundercat. So Thundercat is he's a cool character, supremely talented bassist. He has a new album out, worked with a lot of hip hop artists to kind of cultivate this cool hip hop fusion. We talked about the new fusion, Michael. Yeah. Thundercat is kind of the face of that new fusion movement. He has a new album out. We also have a jazz work from home guide. We're talking about headphones, the best headphones for listening to jazz as you're working from home. And we remember the great McCoy Tyner as well, who passed away last month. We have a tribute to him. It's all in our April issue. You can check it out now. And like I said, become a subscriber, 99 cents for 3 months, gets you unlimited access for those 3 months, plus the print issue coming out in June. Michael, I have worked my way through my coffee, and I don't know about you, but
I'm just about done too. I think it's probably at the point now where I should give up and take the last sip.
There you go. Michael, thank you for joining me last minute here. I really appreciate it, for enlightening us with your Spirogyra stories, and I hope to see you again real soon, just like everybody out there watching.
Hope everyone has a great weekend. Be safe.
That's right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.